Hey guys, Sean here. I'm extending out a leaf looking for an olive branch to anybody who owns a Note 10. I have a Fairly Day 1 Note Edition, or Fairly Day 1 Note 10. I pre-ordered this Note 10 and got it about a day after release. I've had this Note 10 for almost a year, and unfortunately I'm starting to experience some issues with my Note 10. And I was wondering if anybody else is experiencing the same issues with their Note 10 and could extend an olive branch out to me and be like, hey, this is what I did to fix these issues with my Note 10. If not, I'm gonna be exploring options towards this Note 10. So before anybody's like, oh, just send it back to your phone company, they'll repair it. No, they won't. My phone has a cracked screen. I have a very small crack in the corner of my screen. My whole screen is fine except for that corner, and I'm gonna have to get the screen replaced eventually. I don't know when. Probably when it finally starts giving me more issues than what it is. But that's all beside the point. Some of the interesting issues that I'm having with my Note 10 are as follows. I reset my phone tonight, trying to clear up as much as I can with this Note 10. It's been through several software updates. It's had several app updates, Google updates, and all that. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe if I reset my phone, this will clear up. But it's not. One of the major issues I'm having with this Note 10 is failure to connect to the cell network. The interesting issue that I'm having is like, for instance, my mother has a Samsung S10, my sister has a Samsung S20, my grandmother has a Samsung S9, my dad has an iPhone 11. All of them can connect to the AT&T network just fine. Mind you that the AT&T network in my area is not particularly great, but I can connect and send calls and texts out to the AT&T network on my phone. I just have to rely on Wi-Fi for my data. That's been an issue in this area forever, ever since I've lived here, started living here. But for a couple of months now, I've been having issues where I have full bars AT&T 4G LTE. Everyone else around me has AT&T 4G LTE or 5G, and their phone is working fine. Mine, on the other hand, not so much. My data will be slow, and I'm talking about other people on my plan, like my mother or my sister, and their phones are working just fine. Mine isn't. So that's kind of the major of my interesting issues. The second one has to do with Wi-Fi calling. I use Wi-Fi calling when I'm on a very powerful Wi-Fi network like the one here in my home. And unfortunately, I noticed this issue for several days now where my text messages get out of sync. And I'll be texting somebody and all of a sudden we'll get a message or two behind, or a message won't deliver properly. And if I drop off of Wi-Fi and go into the AT&T network, it may work, or I'll have the failure to connect to the AT&T network like I mentioned. One of the things I have done, so one, I've reset my phone. Two, I reseated my SIM card. And we're still at square one. I can take my SIM card out of this phone and drop it in like my mother's S10, and it still works just fine. But I put it in this Note 10, I'm having issues. I can take her SIM card, put it in my Note 10. My Note 10 is still screwed up. Her S10 works just fine. I'm not going to sit here and particularly say I've been easy on this phone, because again, I have a crack on the screen. It's been dropped several times in case. So I've never had this phone out of case, like, ever. Not even since I got it. Like, that's one of the first things I do when I get a phone is I get a case. That's beside the point. Some of my other interesting issues is where it'll drop off of my Wi-Fi network randomly. It's like I'll just be like browsing YouTube, and all of a sudden it'll just drop off of my Wi-Fi network. Or I'll be looking at something on my file server and it'll just drop off my Wi-Fi network. And then other thing I had, this issue was cleared up with the reset, was my apps were constantly crashing. Like for instance, I promised you guys a video on Moshi. Not happened yet. The reason why I haven't had the video on Moshi is because Moshi hasn't been working right on my phone. My phone is how I consume Moshi Twilight. And if it's not working on my phone, that means I have to get another device to use it. And I've been trying my best to keep my iPad business related, even though it is my iPad. But if I have to, I'm gonna have to start using Moshi and stuff on there because my phone is not reliable right now. Apps like YouTube, the app I'm gonna add, the app that this video is on, most of the time would work, but every once in a while would crash. Netflix would crash. Xbox app, I have never had the Xbox app work right on this phone. Until after the reset, it kind of fixed itself, but again, having a phone for a year and never resetting it is kind of a bad idea to begin with. I always tend to try to reset my phone every year. But in this case, my apps were flat out crashing. So I'm extending the olive branches. Anybody else that has a Note 10 experiencing the same issues? What did you do to resolve these issues? Please tell me in the comments so I know what to do. Again, I have reset my phone, and I've tried my SIM card in another phone and tried another SIM card in my phone, and it experienced the same issues. I love my Note 10, but I'm like this. If it starts giving me crap, I'll shoot this horse and get another one in a heartbeat. So, if that's what I have to do, I guess I'll just blow a cap in this horse and go get another phone. Thanks for watching.